Hi, this is Radar Roy from Radar Busters, and this past weekend we were able to go out and test two new retail versions of Whistler's products, the Whistler Pro 78 and the XTR 690. These two radar detectors, if you notice, they're very similar in performance, except that one's silver and one's black. But the Pro 78 does have a few extra little features we think that's worth mentioning, and probably puts it a little bit above the 690. But before we explain the features and the performance of the radar detector, first let me explain a little bit about how the evolution of this new radar detector. We first became aware of the Whistler Pro 78 and the 690 at the 2007 Consumer Electronics Trade Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. When we met with Whistler, they made it very clear to us that they were going to raise the bar and come out with two new radar detectors that they felt would put them on the same playing field as Escort and Beltronics. This past March, the engineer from Whistler and the guys at LiDAR and myself came out here to Wickenburg, Arizona to test these two new radar detectors, and we were pleasantly surprised on the performance of this radar detector. It far exceeds the performance of some of their other radar detectors that they had come out with before, and we're very pleasantly surprised. A couple of features on the radar detector, and I'll use the Pro 78 as an example. You'll notice that it has a blue display. It is a voice-operated radar detector. On the top of the radar detector, you'll notice the various little buttons. These buttons control the filtering mode. There's the highway mode and 3 city modes. A dim feature where you could dim the display of the radar detector. A mute button, and then the menu operation of the radar detector. On the side of the radar detector, you have a little dial knob here that controls the power of the radar detector and the volume. And on top of the radar detector is something I think makes this radar detector very unique. You notice that it almost looks like two little periscopes that are on top of the radar detector right here. First glance, you might think these are laser diodes. Well, this is not the case. These are going to be little LEDs that when the radar detector activates will light up, and I think it's really a neat little feature of this radar detector. And I'll give you an example here on how the radar detector alerts. I'll hold the radar detector up, and what I have here in this hand here is going to be a little device that we use to test radar detectors. And what I'll do is I'll shoot a radar alert to it. And that was a K-band alert, or K-band signal I sent to the radar detector, and notified of K-band, and there was a pulse that I sent to it. You notice that those little LEDs, and I'll do that again. And in that case, I sent a little longer signal to the radar detector, where you're able to see the Geiger counter effect display. And I'll shoot a little KA at the radar detector.
KA band.
Again, you'll notice the little periscope that lights up on top of the radar detector. The band that's displayed on the radar detector in that situation was a KA band, and also the Geiger counter display. Features, full-featured radar detector. It has pop radar, detects pop, and a very good radar detector for the price. Now, as far as performance, we went out this past weekend and we ran the radar detector through a series of tests, our long-range tests, some curves tests, some instant-on, some filtering. And we're very happy to say, again, that I think this radar detector has a lot better performance than Whistler's had anything ever come out with before. This is probably one of the best products that Whistler's come out with, and kudos to them and the engineers there at Whistler. This radar detector knocks the socks off of any Cobra radar detector that you could ever consider buying. So when I put this in the same category as the Whistlers and the Cobras, if that's something you're looking at, certainly go with this Whistler Pro 78 or the Whistler XTR 690. Again, what you're getting for your pack when you do get the Whistler Pro 78, you're getting a few little extra features as far as programming the radar detector. Performance-wise, I think they're pretty close. Really didn't notice any major differences between them. But for the extra few dollars, I really think it's worth it to get the Pro 78 and upgrade it. Is it a league of the Escort Beltronics? No. It's got a little ways to go to catch up to the big boys in the pack. Its filtering is not as good as the big boys out there with Escort and Beltronics. When you compare this to an 8500 and RX65, the sensitivity is not as good. So if you're looking for a radar detector that has great sensitivity, great performance, you're going to have to stick with the $300 radar detectors and up. You know, the Escorts or Beltronics. Now, when we also compared this to the Beltronics 955, which is I would consider the same entry class as the Pro 78. The 955 had a slight edge in performance on this radar detector. The 955 is built on somewhat of the same design as the RX65, the same antenna design, and the Beltronics 955 did perform better. But as far as features, I think the features of the Pro 78 are much better than the Bell 955. As far as the badge rating for performance, overall performance of the radar detector, the features, I would give the Pro 78 and the XTR 690 a 4-star rating. This is a real good radar detector for entry class. Somebody looking for a mid-price radar detector, something that performs better than the Cobra. If that's what you're looking for, you're not going to go wrong with this Pro 78 or the 690. I think you'll be very happy with it. If you have any questions whatsoever on this radar detector or any other radar detector, I would ask you to call Radar Busters and speak with one of our customer service representatives at 888-227-8927. And I'd just like to thank you for watching. We're going to be doing a whole new series of videos testing various other radar detectors, doing installs, direct wiring radar detectors. And if you have any suggestions on any future videos you'd like to see, please shoot me a private message on Radar Detector Net. It's one of our websites. It's an interactive website. Come on up, shoot me a PM, interact with our radar detector community. And then don't forget to visit my blog here at radarroy.com. I thank you for watching, and you have a great day. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Radar Roy from Radar Busters. And this past weekend, we were able to go out and test 2 new retail versions of Whistler's products, the Whistler Pro 78 and the XTR 690. These 2 radar detectors, if you notice, they're very similar in performance, except that one's silver and one's black. But the Pro 78 does have a few extra little features we think that's worth mentioning, and probably puts it a little bit above the 690. But before we explain the features and the performance of the radar detector, first let me explain a little bit about how the evolution of this new radar detector. We first became aware of the Whistler Pro 78 and the 690 at the